Unveiling the enigma of Fatima's third prophecy, a mystery that has captivated scholars and faithful alike, beckons us to a deeper exploration. Are we standing at the threshold of a monumental revelation? Or is there a hidden layer to this tale yet to be uncovered? This series embarks on an investigative odyssey to decode the cryptic messages entwined with the prophecy, examine its historical significance, and uncover the startling reasons behind its imminent disclosure. The Three Secrets of Fatima were first entrusted to three young Portuguese shepherds, Lucia Santos and her cousins, Jacinta and Francisco Marto. Their visions, profound and unsettling, promise to reveal more than ever before. Join us as we piece together the fragments of a divine puzzle that could reshape our understanding of faith and destiny. Back in 1917, the trio claimed to have encountered the Virgin Mary on 6 separate occasions between May and October of that year. And this celestial visitation is now known as Our Lady of Fatima. Fast forward to July 13, 1917, around noon, when something extraordinary occurred. The Virgin Mary, in her divine wisdom, entrusted the children with 3 secrets. It wasn't until 1941 that 2 of these secrets were unveiled through a document written by Lucia, responding to the request of Bishop José Alves Correa da Silva. The revelations were intended to assist in publishing a book about Jacinta, but this is where things start to get really mysterious. The third secret, shrouded in mystery, took a bit longer to surface. In 1943, the bishop urged Lucia to reveal it, but she hesitated, not entirely convinced that God had given her the clear go-ahead. Yet the bishop insisted, and in October 1943, Lucia broke down the secret, sealing it in an envelope and giving strict instructions not to open it until 1960, under the belief that by then it will appear clearer. The contents of this enigmatic secret were finally disclosed by Pope John Paul II in the year 2000. Though some skeptics argue that it might not be the entire secret, the Vatican stands firm in its assertions. Now, what do these secrets entail? Catholic interpretation suggests that they involve profound matters such as hell, the tumultuous events of World War I and World War II, and the persecutions faced by Christians in the 20th century. Delving further into the realm of Marian apparitions, it's worth noting that among the hundreds investigated by the Catholic Church, only 12 have received its official approval. Surprisingly, 9 of these occurrences took place between 1830 and 1933. This small fraction of acknowledged events prompt reflection on their significance. Cultural anthropologists Victor and Edith Turner, who embraced Catholicism in 1958, once saw the surge in Marian apparition cults as a reaction from a disenfranchised lower middle class grappling with the swift changes of a post-industrial culture. Now let's zoom in on Lucia Santos, one of the key figures in the Fatima revelations, and this is where things get really interesting. At the tender age of 14, she was sent to the Sisters of St. Dorothy's School in Vilar, near Porto. In 1928, Lucia took the next step, becoming a postulant at the Dorothean convent in Tui, just across the Spanish border. Remarkably, throughout her life, Lucia continued to report private visions intermittently. During the 1930s, the Bishop of Leiria urged Lucia, who adopted the religious name of Sister Maria Lucia de Stores, to pen her memoirs. This effort aimed to unveil more details about her cousins and the 1917 apparitions. Interestingly, the notion of a secret entrusted to the children during the apparitions emerged as early as July 1917. Lucia hinted that this secret carried consequences, both good and bad, for different individuals. However, it wasn't until her third memoir, composed in 1941, that she delved more profoundly into the secret's content. In a pattern similar to the French visionary Mélanie Calvat, who revealed secrets from the Our Lady of La Salette apparition almost 2 decades later, Lucia disclosed that the secrets had 3 parts. The first 2 were unveiled in 1941, with the third being committed to paper on January 3, 1944. During the mid-1943, when Sister Lucia, then with the Dorothean sisters in Tui, Spain, fell seriously ill. Fearing that her life might slip away before she could disclose the remaining part of the secret, the Bishop of Laria urgently requested her to put pen to paper. In obedience, and in the middle of the agony of her illness, Sister Lucia painstakingly transcribed the third secret onto a single sheet of paper. With solemn care, she placed it within an envelope, sealing it as proof of the gravity of its contents. Before we delve into Sister Lucia's testimony, it's crucial to consider the words of then Cardinal Joseph Ratzinger. He provides context to the revelation, acknowledging the speculation and controversy that shrouded the third secret for many years. In his theological commentary, titled The Message of Fatima, Cardinal Ratzinger notes that the contents of the long-guarded envelope might be disappointing to some. Cardinal Ratzinger states that a careful examination of the third secret might not solve a major puzzle or portend future events. Rather, it presents the Church of the Martyrs from the recently concluded century in a symbolic language that's difficult to understand. Examining the revelations of Fatima leads us to wonder about the intentions behind a communication from the Mother of the Lord to Christianity and humanity during a time of great turmoil. Do these lessons apply to problems we will face this year? Or are they just windows into the minds of kids who grew up in an environment of intense religiosity, but were also affected by the upheavals of their time? And in what sense is this vision significant, and how should we interpret it? Now, let's take a look at what happened and what the three young shepherds witnessed. And this is where it gets really shocking. In 1943, Sister Lucia, under obedience to God, the Bishop of Laria and the Blessed Mother, wrote the following description of the third part of the secret, revealed to her and her two sons on July 13, 1917. I write in obedience to you, my God, who commands me to do so through His Excellency, the Bishop of Laria, and through your most holy mother in mine. After the two parts, which I have already explained, at the left of Our Lady and a little above, we saw an angel with a flaming sword in his left hand flashing. It gave out flames that looked as though they would set the world on fire, but they died out in contact with the splendor that Our Lady radiated toward him from her right hand. Pointing to the earth with his right hand, the angel cried out in a loud voice, "Penance, penance, penance!" Other bishops, priests, men and women, religious, going up a steep mountain, at the top of which there was a big cross of rough-hewn trunks, as of a cork tree with a bark. Before reaching there, the Holy Father passed through a big city, half in ruins and half trembling with halting step. Afflicted with pain and sorrow, he prayed for the souls of the corpses he met on his way. Having reached the top of the mountain, on his knees, at the foot of the big cross, he was killed by a group of soldiers who fired bullets and arrows at him, and in the same way there died one after another the other bishops, priests, men and religious women, and various lay people of different ranks and positions. Beneath the two arms of the cross, there were two angels, each with a crystal aspersorium in his hand, in which they gathered up the blood of the martyrs, and with it sprinkled the souls that were making their way to God. The scenes Sister Lucia recounted are nothing short of intense and vividly descriptive. One can only imagine the impact on the three young visionaries as they received profound prophetic secrets of Fatima on that significant day. The words and visions bestowed by God and the Blessed Mother are not confined to the past. They resonate as a message for all of us. Sister Lucia's interpretation of the third secret, shared almost 4 decades later, in May 1982, in a letter to Pope John Paul II, sheds light on the symbolic nature of the revelation. In her words, she explains, "The third part of the secret refers to Our Lady's words. If not, Russia will spread her arrows throughout the world, causing wars and persecutions of the Church. The good will be martyred. The Holy Father will have much to suffer. Various nations will be annihilated." This interpretation frames the third secret as a symbolic revelation tied to a critical aspect of the message, the acceptance or rejection of the cords made within it. If my requests are heeded, Russia will be converted, and there will be peace. If not, she will spread her arrows throughout the world. Finally, the long-anticipated revelation of the third secret of Fatima unfolded. The Congregation for the Doctrine of the Faith highlights that Pope John Paul II's decision to make this secret public marks the conclusion of a historical period ruined by human lust for power and evil. Yet, it is also a period filled with the merciful love of God and the vigilant care of the Mother of Jesus and the Church. The narrative of Fatima underscores two fundamental pillars shaping human history: the action of God, the Lord of history, and the co-responsibility of humanity in the drama of its creative freedom. Our Lady, who graced Fatima with her apparitions, revives these forgotten values, reminding us that the future of humanity rests in God. She emphasizes that we are not passive observers but active, responsible partners in the creation of our shared future. The third secret, safeguarded until 1960, marks a pivotal moment in church history. Sister Lucia, entrusted with this secret, faced resistance in revealing it, but secured its placement in the secret archives of the Holy Office in 1957. Pope John XXIII in 1959 hesitated to disclose the secret, and Pope Paul VI in 1965 chose to keep it sealed, returning it to the archives. The veil of secrecy persisted until a crucial juncture. Following the attempt on Pope John Paul II's life in 1981, he turned to Fatima for solace. Reading the third secret, he believed the Blessed Mother had intervened, sparing his life on the 64th anniversary of her apparitions. Controversy surrounding the public revelation in 2000, with doubts about authenticity and conspiracy theories. In response to doubts, the Congregation for the Doctrine of the Faith, in the Message of Fatima, emphasized the authenticity of the revealed text. Sister Lucia confirmed the Vatican's version, stating that everything had been published and no secret remains. Any notions of hidden revelations were dispelled, with Sister Lucia declaring that if she had received new messages, she would have communicated them directly to the Holy Father. Before her passing in 2005, Sister Lucia ensured that Our Lady's words and messages were revealed to the world at the appropriate time. The consecration of the world, including Russia, to Mary's Immaculate Heart had been made appropriately, fulfilling the wishes of the Blessed Mother. The controversy surrounding the third secret, fueled by speculation and suspicion, were addressed, bringing a sense of clarity and finality to the historic revelations of Fatima. The prophecy of the 3 days of darkness is coming to fruition, and it's much nearer than you think. It is something many holy figures have talked about. It's a time when the entire world will be plunged into darkness for 3 days. They say evil spirits will be active and believers will face terrible times. You might want to stick around until the end of this video to learn everything you must know about one of the most significant events in biblical prophecy. The origin of the prophecy of the 3 days of darkness is uncertain, but it's been linked to various saints and mystics over time. Some attribute it to Saint Hildegard of Bingen, while others associate it with Saint Patrick, Saint Teresa of Avila, and even Patrepio. In certain Catholic circles focused on prophecy, there is a belief in the 3 days of darkness. According to this concept, the earth will face judgment and be enveloped in darkness, unlike any other natural occurrence. And here's where things start to get shocking. One of the most renowned descriptions of this event is credited to the Italian mystic Blessed Anna Maria Taigi, and this is what she revealed. There shall descend upon the entire earth a profound darkness, lasting for 3 days and 3 nights. Nothing will be visible, and the air will be filled with a pestilence that will primarily affect, but not exclusively, the enemies of religion. No artificial light will function during this darkness, except for blessed candles. Anyone who, out of curiosity, opens their window or leaves their dwelling will drop dead instantly. Throughout these 3 days, people must stay indoors, pray the rosary, and implore God's mercy. All enemies of the Church, whether known or unknown, will perish across the globe during this universal darkness, except for a few whom God will soon convert. The atmosphere will be teeming with demons appearing in various monstrous forms. While the Bible itself doesn't explicitly mention the prophecy of the 3 days of darkness, some believers suggest that God could still communicate such events through trustworthy private revelations. However, a challenge arises in verifying the authenticity of these revelations. The great Catholic monarch and angelic pontiff prophecies, which supports the concept of the 3 days of darkness, admit that it wasn't documented until 1863 or 1864, about 26 or 27 years after Taigi's passing. Consequently, it's prudent to not place too much confidence in purported quotes attributed to Taigi, particularly extensive ones, without verifiable documents from her lifetime. The concept of the 3 days of darkness has intrigued many people over time. It's a prophetic vision of future events, believed by certain Catholic groups to be true. The prophecy predicts 3 days and nights of intense darkness covering the entire earth, during which only blessed beeswax candles will provide light, and during which all the enemies of the church will perish. But that's not even the mysterious part. This prophecy draws parallels to the biblical accounts of the 10 plagues against Egypt in the book of Exodus chapter 10, verse 21 to 29, and the Apocalypse of John, which mentions a plague of unnatural darkness as a consequence of the 6th seal, as said in Revelation chapter 6, verse 12, and 5th vial, as mentioned in Revelation chapter 16, verse 10. However, the specific details of the 3 days of darkness prophecy originate from private revelations. Now let's examine what Jesus disclosed to Pateropio regarding the 3 days of darkness, and you might want to pay close attention to this next part now. The weight of the divine balance has reached the earth. The wrath of my Father shall be poured out over the entire world. I am again warning the world through your instrumentality, as I have so often done heretofore. The sins of men have multiplied beyond measure. Irreverence in church, sinful pride committed in sham religious activities, lack of true brotherly love, indecency in dress, especially at summer seasons. The world is filled with iniquity. In the days of darkness, my elect shall not sleep, as did the disciples in the Garden of Olives. They shall pray incessantly, and they shall not be disappointed in me. I shall gather my elect. Hell will believe itself to be in possession of the entire earth, but I shall reclaim it. Do you perhaps think that I would permit my Father to have such terrible chastisements come upon the world if the world would turn from iniquity to justice? But because of my great love, these afflictions shall be permitted to come upon man. Although many shall curse me, yet thousands of souls shall be saved through them. No human understanding can fathom the depth of my love. Pray, pray. I desire your prayers. My dear Mother Mary, Saint Joseph, Saint Elizabeth, Saint Conrad, Saint Michael, Saint Peter, the little Theres, your holy angels shall be your intercessors. Implore their aid. Be courageous, soldiers of Christ. At the return of light, let everyone give thanks to the Holy Trinity for their protection. The devastation shall be very great, but I, your God, will have purified the earth. I am with you. Have confidence. This catastrophe shall come upon the earth like a flash of lightning, at which moment the light of the morning sun shall be replaced by black darkness. No one shall leave the house or look out of a window from that moment on. I myself shall come amidst thunder and lightning. The wicked shall behold my divine heart. There shall be great confusion because of this utter darkness in which the entire earth shall be enveloped, and many, many shall die from fear and despair. Those who shall fight for my cause shall receive grace from my divine heart, and the cry, "Who is like unto God?" shall serve as a means of protection to many. However, many shall burn in the open fields like withered grass. The godless shall be annihilated, so that afterwards the just shall be able to stand afresh. On the day, as soon as complete darkness has set in, no one shall leave the house or look from out of the window. The darkness shall last a day and a night, followed by another day and a night and another day. But on the night following, the stars will shine again, and the next morning the sun shall rise again, and it will be springtime. Now here's the most surprising part. Certain supporters of the belief in the 3 days of darkness assert that St. Pio of Pietrelcina prophesied, "It will occur this year, so get ready." Nevertheless, this quote was provided without any verifiable source, and the Capuchin order to which he belonged has refuted any claim that he made such a prediction. There seems to be an attempt by someone to bolster the credibility of the prediction by linking it to a well-known modern saint. But here is where things take a dark turn. Another mystic and stigmatist, Marquis de la Fonquer, Marie-Julie Jaheny of La Frodeche, is said to have shared that, thus crises will explode suddenly. The punishments will be shared by all and will succeed one another without interruption. The 3 days of darkness will be on a Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, days of the most holy sacrament, of the cross and Our Lady. 3 days less, 1 night. The earth will be covered in darkness, and hell will be on earth. Thunder and lightning will cause those who have no faith or trust in my power to die of fear. During these 3 days of terrifying darkness, no windows must be opened, because no one will be able to see the earth and the terrible color it will have in those days of punishment without dying at once. The sky will be on fire. The earth will split. During these 3 days of darkness, let the blessed candle be lighted everywhere. No other light will shine. No one outside a shelter will survive. The earth will shake as other judgment and fear will be great. Yes, we will listen to the prayers of your friends. Not one will perish. We will need them to publish the glory of the cross. The candles of blessed wax alone will give light during this horrible darkness. One candle alone will not be enough for the duration of this night of hell. In the homes of the wicked and blasphemers, these candles will give no light. And Our Lady states, everything will shake except the piece of furniture on which the blessed candle is burning. This will not shake. You will all gather around with a crucifix and my blessed picture. This is what will keep away this terror. So what exactly is going on here? Well, here is where things get even crazier. During this darkness, the devils and the wicked will take on the most hideous shapes. Red clouds like blood will move across the sky. The crash of the thunder will shake the earth, and sinister lightning will streak the heavens out of season. The earth will be shaken to its foundations. The sea will rise. Its roaring waves will spread over the continent. The earth will become like a vast cemetery. The bodies of the wicked and the just will cover the ground. 3/4 of the population of the globe will disappear. Half the population of France will be destroyed. Now the eerie prophecies don't stop here. The prophetess, Sister Mary of St. Peter, a Carmelite nun from Tours, is reported in her revelations to have said, "A warning will come immediately before the 3 days of darkness chastisement. The Church has not addressed this matter." Sister Elena Aiello of Calabria further states, "Clouds with lightning rays of fire and a tempest of fire will pass over the whole world, and the punishment will be the most terrible ever known in the history of mankind. It will last 70 hours. But do you know what's extremely shocking? Interestingly, there are no references to the phrase 3 days of darkness in Vatican documents. Therefore, this concept is not part of official church teaching. This becomes problematic when considering predictions made by various saints regarding the 3 days of darkness, because if any of these saints did indeed predict it, evidence of such predictions should exist in the writings. However, no such evidence has been found. It appears that some supporters of this belief have tried to give it an appearance of historical authenticity by associating it with older saints, even though the saints never made such predictions. Thus, the concept seems to have originated more recently. Present-day visionaries may also speak about the 3 days of darkness, but it's important to note that none of these visionaries have undergone thorough investigation or had their visions approved. While some may genuinely receive private revelations, others might be perpetrating hoaxes or simply imagining things based on existing visionary literature. Therefore, it's crucial to conduct proper investigations, rather than unquestioningly accepting claims of supposed revelations. For instance, consider the case of the once popular Canadian mystic, Father Michel Rodrigue, who was disavowed by his bishops, and whose prophecies have since been proven false. This raises serious doubts about the quote attributed to Tiggy, along with any other quotes attributed to her regarding the 3 days of darkness. The concept was apparently introduced over 25 years after her death by an elderly spiritual director. We must rely on his account for what she told him, and we're dependent on his memory, honesty, and the accuracy of the report about what he said. Given these circumstances, and considering the issue with other quotes on this topic, such as the false Patharapio quote. We should not trust any alleged direct quotes attributed to Taigi, particularly lengthy ones, without verifiable documents written during a lifetime. Additionally, it's important to note that these revelations were not subjected to an official investigation by the Church to confirm the validity. When someone's cause for canonization is initiated, there's a review to ensure they didn't say anything contrary to their faith. However, a determination about the truthfulness of any revelations they claim to receive is a separate process, and there is no evidence that such an investigation was conducted in this case.